Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the webinar on Women, Digital Skills and the Future of Work and launching of UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon. I, Lamia Musing, Junior National Consultant, UNDP in Bangladesh, will be with you today as the Master of Ceremonies. Automation, artificial intelligence, the gig economy, and demographic and social shifts are defining a future of work that is already affecting companies, supply chains, and workers around the world. This changing nature of work has unique implications for women. Disruptive technologies are affecting both the quantity and quality of women's jobs, while systemic constraints impact the ability of women to transition into new sectors. Workplaces are increasingly requiring new skills and calling for experience in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But the lack of women in STEAM fields and gaps in digital skills could hold women back. The current gender divide in Bangladesh can be addressed by helping women improve their digital skills, and this can be achieved by supporting wider education activities to build digital skills. UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon is an invitation to women engaged or interested in digital technology to take part in an invention marathon, learn new digital skills, and co-create amazing digital solutions on digital transformation and smart city that will help Bangladesh build forward better and expand the role of women in science and technology. Tonight, we have with us a remarkable panel of guests who are very kindly obliged to grace the event virtually despite their extremely busy schedules and different time zones. So without further ado, I would like to commence today's introductory segment by inviting Ms. Van Nguyen, Deputy Resident Representative UNDP in Bangladesh, to deliver her welcome remarks. Over to you, Van.
Thank you so much, Lamia, and ladies and gentlemen, respected guests, panel members, and participants. Good evening to all of you. Thank you so much for being with us today. You know, at this time, it's late in the afternoon, and we value your participation. We value your interest in joining us at this event. So you know that gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls is very central to the to our effort to achieve the 2030 agenda or for sustainable developments and for sustainable development goals. And UNDP, of course, is together with other UN agencies and the government and other stakeholders actually working very hard to support the countries to achieve those goals by 2030. So last year we have the Human Development Reports of UNDP has focused on the gender equality, on gender equality progress, and despite so much has been done. 3 decades, I would say. What we discovered last year from the report is that you know, no country, whether it's rich or poor, will have achieved the gender equality. So forget about, you know, of course, you know, Bangladesh or Vietnam, or but even those countries like Sweden, like a Nordic country, the United States, Australia, everywhere, no country has achieved gender equality at this point in time. And we also learned that, you know, it will take 257 years for the world to close the gender gaps in economic opportunities between women and men. And that was the 2019, the 2020 report is looking at the figures of 2019, and it means that 257 years doesn't count, doesn't include, doesn't take into account what happens to us those days with COVID-19. So I don't know, 257 will become 300 or even more. So that is the concern that we have. And COVID-19 also revealed that a lot of challenges that we haven't seen before. We realize that, you know, women are not only disproportionately affected by disaster, by crisis, by COVID-19, for example. But at the same time, because of COVID-19, the specificity of COVID-19, it also reveals that that the fact that women don't have access to internet connection, to digital device, and all this makes their life even more miserable than men. So with this, with all those considerations that UNDP has been uh, discussing together with other partners to see what we are going to do in the next 5 years. So you may know that very recently we have formulated a new country program for the next 5 years starting 2022. And one of our priorities is very much to support women, and digital literacy is also one of the areas that our country program will focus on in the next 5 years. So we know, and why do we do this? Because the gender digital divide is a very important challenge, as we know. In Bangladesh and worldwide, gender inequalities continue to exist across access to information and communication technologies and digital skills, of course. So those things affects women education and employment opportunities. And we also know that technological shifts are defining the future of work that has unique implications for women, especially their ability to transition into a new sectors that require new and advanced skills. We just imagine in Bangladesh with all those, for example, the ready-made garments workers. What are they going to do in the future when their work and their life will be affected by automation, by technologies? So we are committed to create a future of work that works for all, especially for women, and we will be making sure that women receive all the opportunities to improve their digital skills and are part of the highly skilled and innovative workforce positioned for Bangladesh future success. So today discussion, I look at the panel member, and I'm very excited to welcome all of you, and I look forward to listening in and to learning more from our panel about all those questions about the gender gap in digital skills, about the learning in the digital age, and ways that we can increase the women's participation in Bangladesh business processes. So Zimran was telling me that in every, the midst of every crisis lies an opportunity, and I fully agree with him on that. So I saw a lot of creativity and determination in the fast and adequate way in which many female students and young professionals have adapted to the pandemic. So we should seize those opportunities to continue to encourage and support them in developing their innovative digital solutions for Bangladesh. So UNDP is very proud to be partner to be joining you in that journey, and we hope that the pandemic has not only amplified the existing inequalities, but also provided us with the opportunity to do something more important for our women. So the hackathon is a culmination of efforts from a host of international partners that you see them all here today, and among other prizes, the hackathon hours include certificate scholarships to 100 women for the elements of AI online courses. So I wish all of you the very best, and good luck for this hackathon journey, and we hope that we will continue to put the digital equality at the center and at the forefront of our work. So the time for action is now, and to all the hackathon participants, I am sure that many of your ideas will inspire all of us on how to build forward better our future. And I wish you best of luck. Thank you so much, and over to you, Lamia.
Thank you so much, Van, for your powerful and well articulated words. And we completely agree with you when you said that the time for action is now. I would now like to invite one of the very familiar faces of UNDP Bangladesh Country Office. Please let me call upon Ms. Sharmin Islam, Gender Analyst, UNDP Bangladesh, to share her insights on bridging the gender digital divide. Over to you, Sharmin Appa.
Thanks, Lamia. Um, First of all, respected guests, panel members, and participants of the webinar, very good evening. Thanks to the UNDP Accelerator Lab for organizing the Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon and, of course, giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts very briefly. I will basically try to reflect on women's inclusion in the digital ecosystem within the context of Bangladesh. As you know, that Bangladesh over the years has made remarkable progress in different areas like labor force participation, education, and wages. However, regarding political participation, ownership of land and other productive resources, proportion of time spent on unpaid care work, etc., the gender gap is still very high. So these are the areas that we mostly look at while addressing problems regarding gender equality and women's empowerment. However, during COVID-19 crisis, one more very important issue that came into our notice is that the widening digital divide. So the divide, of course, exists between different socioeconomic groups, between people living in urban and rural areas, but I would mostly like to talk about the divide between men and women, the gender divide, gendered digital divide. So I must also acknowledge here that women is not a homogeneous category. And also, you know that UNDP is one of the core principles that we follow is no one should be leaving behind. So to understand the real problem that all women are facing, not only the privileged women, but also the women who are marginalized because of different intersectional and multiple identities. We need to understand their situation to understand, to get the full picture. So anyway, what I was actually trying to say that during the pandemic, we have realized many new issues. And of course, we realized how important digitization is. We have seen how the mobile phone has become the tool for purchasing the daily necessary products, paying bills, continuing online classes, attending office, running our businesses, etc. So it's very important for both women and men to have necessary skills for attaining the full benefit of digitization. So if we look at the available data, according to GSMA 2020 report, the gender gap is around 29% regarding ownership of mobile phones and 52% in the use of mobile internet in Bangladesh. If we look at the global scenario regarding use of internet, the gap is around 10%. So compared to the global one, I mean, the gap in Bangladesh is much higher. And when we talk about ownership of mobile, we also need to know or question how many mobile are actually using their mobile. Or the kids or their kids and the other family members are using them for different purposes, sorry. So we don't have such data yet. And also having the ownership or access to technology doesn't necessarily mean that they have skills for using those technologies. So some important analysis also shows that in this particular area, even if women have access to information communication technologies, they do not possess a similar level of skills as men in this, in using ICT. So here as well, a significant gap exists. So the reason might be the existing discourses or social gender stereotypes that women are not good in using technology. Women need to be educated to use technology. However, when we talk about men, the perception is completely different. So coming to the next or advanced level, if we look at the job market, we see a very little number of female professionals in the ICT related industries. Many women not yet think of developing their career in this area or becoming technology entrepreneurs. considering the present context, it would be a missed opportunity if we can't reduce gender gap in this area. So to ensure equal participation in digital economy, we need to help women and girls in improving their digital skills, encourage more women and girls to be engaged in the ICT industry or become technology entrepreneurs. So this is, of course, a timely initiative by the Accelerator Lab for the female students and young professionals. They're very fresh, innovative, and they know exactly the problems that the women and girls are facing in the digital space. Therefore, they might be in the better position to actually propose or co-create digital solutions to different problems. So my best wishes for the initiative. And I hope that many young women and girls will apply to avail this opportunity and will be benefited from this. And thanks a lot, audience and distinguished guests, for your patience hearing. Over to you, Lamia.
Thank you, Sharmin Abba, for your brief yet encouraging words. So, and with that, I would like to conclude our introductory session for today. And thank you for our speakers for the amazing words and insights. So we will now be commencing our next session, which is a panel discussion titled Women, Digital Skills and the Future of Work. As the moderator for this segment, we are honored to have with us Dr. Marito Garcia, board member of Learning and Equality and fellow at the Darden Center for Global Initiatives, University of Virginia. Our panel today includes representatives from the amazing organizations who have partnered with UNDP Bangladesh Accelerator Lab and are making the UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon a reality. So we have with us Mr. Gregory Pepper, Program Lead, Unleash Secretariat, Unleash Innovation Lab. We have with us Mr. Juhani Kivikankas, Chairman of Board, Ultra Hack. We have Ms. Sana Riponen, Product Owner, Elements of AI, University of Helsinki. And finally, we have Ms. Akia Neela, Founder, CEO, Women in Digital. So the panel will answer important questions around the gender gap in digital skills, learning in the digital age, and ways to increase women's participation in Bangladesh's business process outsourcing BPO sector. So I would now like to hand over the mic to our moderator for this session, Dr. Marito Garcia. Over to you, Marito.
Thank you, Lamia. Welcome, everybody, to the panel on women, digital skills, and the future of work. So those are three heavily loaded terms, and our introductory to these sessions from the deputy representative of UNDP and also from Sharmin has shown that those three are very important aspects in this particular program. Future of work means being digital. What does it mean? Being digital, 90% of the future of work is actually digital, according to a report by the World Economic Forum. And in this case, in the case of Bangladesh and also the rest of the world, the importance of women in participating in this new economy and new digital skills is very important. In Bangladesh, if you will recall, about 3 decades ago, there was a program called Secondary Scholarship for Girls, 1980s and 1990s. And those programs successfully reversed the number of girls in secondary schools in Bangladesh by the year 2000. So what we say is that these kinds of programs, affirmative programs, especially scholarship for girls, are potential tools for reversing the divide, at least in gender. For this program here, for this panel, we would like to focus on the methodologies used for this hackathon. There are 2 or 3 important points to make. One, it is an accelerator lab, meaning to say it should be made faster, accelerate the program towards what? Towards the goal of first, equality, and secondly, towards employment. And hackathon is a methodology for speedy invention. Therefore, skills development is improved through that. But the second most important point, more important point here is that the winners of this will win scholarship. Scholarship on what? Scholarship for an online learning course to be delivered online. Today, we know that from COVID-19, that online learning is the new methodology for faster acceleration of learning. And it has been proven during the COVID-19 pandemic that it is the way to go. The survey in Bangladesh for 2020 has shown that 90% of the private universities in Bangladesh went online during the COVID period, but lesser than that for the public universities. So therefore, online learning is very important. And the scholarship too is very important because it has to be directed, it has to be affirmative. With those words, let me then introduce and ask our panelists. We have distinguished panelists from different parts of the world. I am participating from Washington, D.C., and our panelists will be participating from Finland, Denmark, and also Bangladesh. Our first speaker is Gregory, who is the program lead of Unleash. In 2020, he led 22 hackathons in 14 countries. And so my question to Gregory is, can you explain, Gregory, the Unleash approach and how it will help the SDG goals and especially help the Bangladeshi women to turn ideas into sustainable businesses? And secondly, I have two questions for you. The second is, what can we learn from the innovative curriculum that you used in those 22 hackathons in 14 countries? On to you, Greg.
Thank you very much, Dr. Garcia, and distinguished guests, colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today and to be part of the great group of partners that are uniting to support this initiative. So Unleash at its core is a global initiative, and we work with young, talented people from over 160 countries, so truly global. And our mission is to empower and unite passionate youth, work with cross-sector partners, and through this generate and grow solutions to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. And at the core of what we do, we're really interested in supporting young people who have a passion, who want to make a difference. And I think all the people joining today, past a few hundred now, or 100 or so people that are listening in, we want to work with young people who care and who see themselves as change makers, who see themselves as people that can actually make a difference in the world. And of course, at first, it might be something that's scary, but ultimately, we think that through 3 pillars, we can enable young people to make a difference. The first is through capacity building. So it's actually training people, for example, through hackathons, to even start approaching a problem. Sometimes problems are just too scary to even approach it. But in fact, if we deconstruct it, if we look at it in smaller pieces, we can actually see that it's possible to start solving it. So that's the one thing, capacity building, training people. The second one is actually launching solutions. So through this training, through the hackathons, we also have an incubation program. And what we do is we really help people launch solutions. So going from a problem that you'll find to ultimately having a solution that goes out into the real world. And that might be software, so it might be digital. And this, of course, is very important in the context of the hack that we're uniting for. But it could be something different. It could be something physical. It could be a campaign, a communication campaign, but essentially a solution to solve a problem related to sustainability. And lastly, we have been working with over 300 partners over the last 4 years. And the UNDP has actually been one of the first partners we've worked with from the get-go. And here again, really, really glad to be uniting with UltraHack, with the University of Helsinki and the elements of AI, and also women in digital. So this is something that we see is really important, just continuously coming together with partners to create what's called the ecosystem, which means lots of different types of organizations and people that can really help all of us reach better results. So that's a bit about the first question. So really, how do we go about helping others to achieve the SDGs? And more specifically, I think in this hack, so we have this innovation curriculum. And also for the audience, I don't know how many of you have looked into design thinking or human-centered design. I recommend that you just Google search it, just look at design thinking. But it's essentially a way of looking at problems through different steps. So it allows you to look at a problem, unpack it, think about who is actually concerned by a problem. What are those person's needs? How can we solve that problem? And what's the best way to solve it? Is it digital? Is it through workshops? Is it through any initiative that you can come up with? And then seeing how to actually prototype that. So prototype is a complicated word to mean start building something, because of course we have an idea in our minds, but at some point we build. And so that's when you start prototyping, and you build simplified representations of your solution that people can actually react to. And that people reacting to is core. So it's really working with people who are getting addressed by this or affected by this problem and helping them with the solution. So talking to them, learning from them, really understanding how you can solve their problem and ultimately launching it. And so I think in the context of this Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon, I think we'll have, really girls and young women, young professionals looking at how to design solutions for women, by women. And I think with the tools that they're going to be provided with, they'll really have a way of, I think, seeing this less as a daunting experience or something which would be scary because it's too complicated, but actually saying, hey, there's lots of opportunities here. And there's ways that we can start building solutions, that we can be part of this movement of accessing digital skills and being part of the future of work. So we're really excited to be part of the initiative here. And of course, if there's any things that I can further answer, you can find us at unleash.org. So feel free to get in touch. And thank you very much, Dr. Garcia.
Thanks very much, Greg. Your experience in 160 countries is it's a remarkable achievement. And the way you do it by design thinking is also one new way that people learn what to do and how to discover new solutions, asking what if, what wows, and what works. And then whatever works, you design. So our next speaker is Johanni. And Johanni has led successful programs in Jordan and Finland using hackathons to encourage women into STEM programming. And his experience in those countries gives us opportunity to learn from them. And so the question to Johanni is, how effective can these initiatives like the hackathon and innovation be helpful advance women's skills in Bangladesh, and especially in a COVID era? And the second question, if I may ask, is why was it important for you to partner with the Accelerator Lab and organize the UNDP Digital Innovation Hackathon? How important is that partnership to you, and how can the lab work together in the future for Bangladesh?
Yes, hello everybody, and thank you for those questions. So first, briefly about the philosophy of UltraHack. So 6 years ago when we started, so we are looking at how to make a change and how to help companies in the digitalization challenges, and on the other hand help this innovation to become reality. And we found out that usually hackathons are only this 24 or 48 hours, and then because of that it's too short time to make a difference. And then we thought that would be possible to make it is a longer journey, and that's the ultra game, so that having meaningful challenges, bringing minds and teams together to solve challenges and then help them afterwards. And then we have done now about 140 programs in 20 countries, we have a community of more than 10,000 developers in about 100 countries, and we have helped to establish tens of new companies and projects, and so that that's the brief about us. So hackathons, I mean, they're great. It's a great opportunity to learn, demonstrate your skills, and to meet interesting and useful new contacts, to develop your concept and idea, and of course also to have fun. Traditionally, hackathons have been mainly places for men to show their skills, but it works for women as well. And we have this year we have 4 programs especially helping women, and in Jordan, in Chile. Now we have a program in Finland, like ladies coding. It's all participants are female and women, and we have seen also before that the teams which have the female view in their team and female participants, they work well, and have seen plenty of new companies established, also led by women, and established in our programs. Our last 20 programs have been fully online, and during the COVID times, and we have seen that online hackathons can deliver the same results as physical hackathons. So you can demonstrate and advance your digital skills, and of course, one advantage of online program is that it does not matter where you are. The world is basically your playground. It has been smaller, and also the programs where maybe 70% of our programs has been sort of impact type of programs. So it's like not only helping some one company, but sort of helping sort of larger problems. Like one program we did for Asian Development Bank, they approached us that if we can help to solve the challenge of digital identity for the last billion in the world. And we run the program in Manila, and as a result, there's a pilot project in Papua New Guinea for 30,000 users, aimed to scale that up and copy that to other countries. One program we did for United Nations, how to solve sustainable development goals with use of satellite data provided by NASA and ESA, and 20 other sources. The winner team, they created the service which helped to predict wildfires, and it was taken into use and further to be developed after the program. One special nice example is that now startup called Chaos Architect, where it was team leader was a lady, foreigner in Finland, and they won their challenge, and they established a company. They got funding, and they're doing well and scaling up their operation. So I think the hackathon is a great place to show your talent, to learn, and the good thing is that it's good for you, even if you are still a beginner, you can learn, and also when you are already a professional and scaling up and meeting interesting people. And another question was about the why Accelerator Lab. So it all boils down back to the why UltraHack was founded. So we want to see that the things don't end when the hackathon lights are off and people go back. I mean, that's still a start of the journey, and that's why we want to partner with different acceleration, co-creation works and pilot projects and investors to see that the work which has started, so that it can continue. and that's why that's why we think it's so important that we have the partners and Accelerator Lab. This is our first initiative, and we see that it's the first of many, and as said, that it's a journey which has started. We invite you all to participate, and let's make a great future together. Thank you.
Thank you, Hani. And as you have seen, the experience of Ultra Hack is a very important aspect in their participation in the Accelerator Lab of UNDP. The proof of the success of a hack is actually what develops after that. What projects are identified, what programs have emerged, like what he mentioned about satellite helping out in putting out wildfires. So our next speaker is Sana Riponen, the product owner of Elements of AI, University of Helsinki. And I have the questions for Sana, who is the also the developer of a highly rated artificial intelligence course in the University of Helsinki. Shows that these programs are very useful for giving, especially online course programs, courses are especially helpful in giving the students who complete these courses a credential that can be used in the market to find a job, because nowadays it is not only through your degrees from in Bangladesh, from BUET or from University of Dhaka that's important. What's important for the employers today is what kind of skills do you know? What competencies do you have to be hired? And so we'd like to then take the views from Sana on, in terms of the developing that course on Elements of AI, what inspiration was behind the creation of that, and how is it doing so far? And what are the learning opportunities that the Bangladeshi women will have in terms of getting the certification from the Elements of AI, and how this could be used in the marketplace? On to you, Sana.
Hi, everybody, and thank you. I'd like to answer first about Elements of AI course, because I noticed that there are some live questions about this course and the certificate. So I'll describe briefly what this is all about. Elements of AI is actually a series of online courses about the basics of AI. And currently we have around 700,000 students from over 170 countries who are taking our courses. And this program consists of 2 courses. The first part is called Introduction to AI, and it's completely free. You can take the course and you get a free certificate in the end. We also have a second course, which is called Building AI, which builds on the basics that you can learn in the Introduction to AI course. And this course already introduces a little bit of coding, but you don't have to know programming if you want to take this course. And for that course, the certificate costs, but as mentioned already, for 100 participants of this hackathon, you can get a free certificate of the second course. You don't have to do the first one to access the second course. It's completely voluntary. If you want to do 2 courses, fine, or you can just step into the second one. And how did we come up with such a course? Our goal was first to train 100% of Finnish citizens in the basics of AI. And okay, Finland has only 5.5 million citizens, So that wasn't a very, very hard goal for us to reach, but it is a very nice goal to communicate. And when we got started, we found out that there are a lot of courses on AI that claim to be the introduction to AI. And when looking at these courses closer, we realized that quite a few of these courses actually require you to know programming. Or otherwise you need to already know quite a lot about technology, the vocabulary and so on. And so there is a certain gap between these so-called introductory courses to AI. So what we wanted to do is create an actual introduction to AI for those who don't necessarily have a technology background at all. And instead of programming, we want to concentrate on implications, introducing and busting myths about AI. And we do introduce the most essential AI methods, but rather through troubleshooting. And we ask our students to communicate their own opinions on AI definitions or the implications on their lives or on common perceptions of AI. So it's all about building confidence and vocabulary, and sense of control, and we do provide a set of tools for learning more and to take a critical stance towards the current discussion on AI. So we don't want to tell people why AI is important for them. We invite them to discuss this. And we really spent a lot of time to create a design and tone of voice that would be truly accessible for many people. And even if this course is based on research and practical knowledge from within the industry, the important thing is that we are not pouring this information from the top down, but we aim to treat our users as equals, because every user is the expert on their life and what they want to use this new knowledge for. So we hope to give ideas, pointers, and practical skills, but we don't tell anyone this is what you should do with AI. And of our course takers, 40% are female, and it's a great result for a course about technology. And over here in Finland, it's even higher, somewhere around 60%. And you also asked about the certification. What is the role of having a certificate for what you learn online? We know that online certificates have great value for a number of our students. And there are one type of outcome with which you can show what you're interested in and what you can do. But I would like to expand this a little bit, since we are now talking about a hackathon where you get to do practical project work and collect something for your own portfolio to show what you can do and what you're interested in. And yes, I'd like to encourage everybody who's interested in creating their own personal path to technology to find communities and to look for interesting projects, no matter what the technology behind it. It can be AI or it can be anything. Because if you actually create something that you care about, it's not only that you show that you can do something, it's also you're showing that what your interests are, and you can put your personality into these projects. And within communities, you can meet inspiring examples. It's not only interesting career stories, but people who actually use these tools for something, and you can get a lot of instruction, and you can share experiences with people who you can relate to. So that is, of course, great for career purposes. You can show what kind of stuff you're interested in and also connect with others. So all these goals were actually already mentioned with the introduction to hackathons, what they're good for. Connecting with people and gathering practical skills you can share with through a meaningful community.
Thank you. Thank you, Sana. This is very exciting that you have 700,000 users worldwide, at least for the introductory course in 170 countries. That's a lot of outreach out there. And the important thing, I think, that to understand with certifications is that these are proof of competencies that you as the learner is able to provide the employer, and employers look for specific skills related to these kinds of higher level skills like artificial intelligence. Thank you very much, Sana. Now we move on to our next panelists, Akia Nila, who is the founder and CEO of Women in Digital. Akia is a successful Bangladeshi developer of IT products and is a role model for women in Bangladesh aspiring in the new technology. And one of the goals of UNDP Accelerator Lab actually is to maximize the participation of women in the in the IT sector, in the business process outsourcing sector. And the question for Akia is, what kind of impact do you think an initiative like this, the UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon, will do in strengthening the women's capacity for digital solutions and extending the opportunities for digital learning to the women's employability, especially in the BPO sector, which is increasing globally?
Thank you, Marito. Actually, I don't know I am a role model or not, but yes, I'm working for the women in digital, for the bringing more women in technology. So yes, we are only one company in Bangladesh, fully run by women engineers, and we are working for the global market. Our expertise is developing mobile app, games, and others IT products. So I believe if women in digital are able to do this as a product for the international market, so yes, it is possible for any other companies and in any other women. So that and I really feel proud. Women in Digital is the organization who arranged first time national hackathon for women in Bangladesh and even in the South Asia. So we bring more than 500 women from all over the Bangladesh in Dhaka city, and there are some girls they never come in the cities before this hackathon. So that is really huge successful one for us. And after that, we have seen there is huge change from women because they are feel interest to work in this industry. They know how to develop a IT product on that hackathon because we demonstrated how to develop a IT product, how can we can use the human centric design, how can we use the AI blockchain in this product. So we demonstrate all the things in this hackathon, and nowadays girls are really interested to work with the technical things. So once upon a time, actually, people believe women are not able to do coding, they are not able to do technical things, but I believe we are able to change a bit mindset from the people because we proved actually women can do these things. So and for the pandemic, actually, we are not able to arrange the second hackathon, but I really grateful to the UNDP for arranging such a great event again in Bangladesh because it's really important. This is the place where our women able to show their actually capability in technology field. They are able to do. They are actually showing them actually we can do something for the nation. And the thing is actually we are living in a new economy powered by technology, fueled by information, and driven by knowledge. We are entering a new century with many opportunity and everything based on technology. So if women are not able to match with these things, so how we can actually come in the contribute in the digital economy. So yeah, so I think the hackathon shows us how we can develop a total product in for the IT industry, and business process outsourcing is something like developing the product for the international clients. So I think when women join in this hackathon, they feel they will achieve some, actually they are they we can judge their confidence actually. And also outsourcing industry benefited from our women, because they at least learn something from the hackathon. So that can be a good impact for the women, and improve income, new skill, and learn new skill with such a course, the offer from the Ultra Hack. And obviously women empowerment, which are we always working for, and changing the things like women are not able to do technical things or the other things. So that things also changed when they will get the opportunity to develop some things in this area, especially in technological area. And also we'll get some role models, and some women, those who can do something in this area. So there are so many opportunity, I believe. The first thing, actually they break the barrier, and they gain some confidence from the hackathon. And after the hackathon, they will get so many things, I know, from the UNDP. And after learning all those things, they can contribute their knowledge in the BPO sector. So, and the BPO sector is the sector which is very much encouraged by our government. It's the one goal from digital Bangladesh. So I think this is they will get so many opportunity from this hackathon, and also they will able to contribute in this in the digital economy.
Thank you very much, Ashia, and thank you to the four distinguished panelists. I'd like to make a final summary of what this all means. For UNDP is trying to promote the Accelerator Lab, and it's an Accelerator Lab because it will accelerate both the learning of digital skills of Bangladeshi women. And as I understand from the Bangladesh government, that the business process outsourcing and IT sector is one of the targets of government after the success of the garments industry, which propelled Bangladesh to be a star country in this area. And so in terms of the objectives, the acceleration that this lab and hackathon will do in terms of improving women's ability to participate in the sector is one of the most important goals. And in terms of the future, the business process outsourcing industry is a huge industry in the world. It is about 350 billion. Only half of that is being addressed by the existing suppliers of skills, outsourcing skills. 100 billion of that from India, and about 30 to 40 billion from the Philippines. But from Bangladesh, around 1 to 2 billion only. And so there's so much to achieve by improving the ability of Bangladeshi suppliers of digital skills to participate in this global market. So with this as our conclusion, we'd like to pass on now to our MC, Samia, for the next part of this program.
Thank you to our moderator and all our panelists for such an engaging discussion. I would now like to invite Mr. Ian McCready, Chief Community Officer, Ultra Hack, to deliver a presentation on the UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon, containing the much awaited details, including the registration and application process. Over to you, Ian.
Thank you very much, Lamia, for that introduction. Good evening to all the attendees here. I thank you for your time so late in the day in Bangladesh. And for those who are attending elsewhere, who are viewing this great event and this great hackathon and happening So as mentioned by Lamia, I'm here to introduce to you a little bit more about the hackathon itself. So what happens, the process, how to make yourself eligible for the hackathon. Obviously, there are certain criteria that you must reach before you move forward to the hackathon itself. How to register, it's the key part of my discussion with you right now at this moment. So if there's any questions at any point during the time, please put them into the Q&A section of this webinar. I'll start by introducing a hackathon because I see that quite many of you have never participated in a hackathon before. So just to let you know that a hackathon is a safe and supportive environment for creative solutions to take fruit, and with the support of mentors, the help of the organizers, to ensure that you're on track with the development against the challenge that you've been presented. So within an Ultra Hack Hackathon, we like to ensure that it's also an experience. So not only are you coming to create a solution that could possibly be carried on afterwards, but we also want to make the hackathon a starting point for you, something that makes you feel that you want to come back to another one in the future with the same solution or with something new to try and test something different. So I will go in, I'll just share my screen now, just 1 second till I get this because sometimes it's a little bit fidgety. And I will go into a little bit more detail about how the hackathon will happen, the platforms that we will use, and also a little bit on the practical side of things. So I was going to create a presentation, but then I realized that everything is on the challenge page already that I was about to create a presentation for. So I thought I would present that to you because this is your go-to point for any information that you require and also for registering for the hackathon itself. Many of you have visited this challenge page, but if not, please do and enter your registration here. The hackathon itself will take place on the 1st to the 3rd of July. So we commence on Thursday evening with a few short sessions to get you all aligned to the hackathon and get you all onboarded. We will then, with Unleash and Until Accelerator Labs, we will have our UNDP Accelerator Labs. We will have a very structured session for you with gates and checks to ensure that you know where to be and when and what you're actually developing against. At the end, you will be requested to submit a recorded pitch. So as you understand, many of you are coming from many different backgrounds, there's very different bandwidths. So we don't expect you to pitch live. To make it a level playing field for all, we are welcoming recorded pitches. And the beauty of those is that the pitch can be perfect, but we will give you the necessary training so that that perfection can be reached. But even before the hackathon itself, to be in with a chance, you must enter your registration and get your team aligned and start working on the problem framing, which you will get more information about from Unleash. The registration and your team must be formed by the 21st of June. We will be doing a preliminary review of all the registrants and the teams that have submitted, that they meet the criteria and that they're eligible for moving forward to the hackathon before we do the approvals. So please ensure that you meet the criteria, that you're part of a team to be in with a chance of attending the hackathon. Once you land on the challenge page, you will notice this beautiful header with a reminder of all the important information, the date of the hackathon, and the deadline for registration. These are all the partners who are making this happen. So without these, unfortunately, this hackathon wouldn't take place, but they're providing a lot of support for you in the hackathon. So please use them when you reach the hackathon itself for mentoring and support where required. A hackathon wouldn't happen without a challenge or a problem area for you to create a solution for. I present to you now the two challenges that we are pleased to bring forward within this UNDP Women Digital Innovation Hackathon. The first being the Digital Transformation Challenge. So this is open to quite a broad spectrum of solutions from education, financial, healthcare services, and even agriculture. IoT, AI, whatever it may be, how you combine it into this. Any idea that you can generate around this is welcome for this challenge. The second challenge is more along the lines of smart cities. Managing the infrastructure, such as utilities around energy, water, and waste management. Again, through IoT sensors, how AI might be incorporated, how the consumer might be involved with some of these items as well. Improving access to urban services, such as financial access, social services, healthcare services, any EMS that's required, or solving some of the mobility issues, especially in the larger cities. There are many solutions out there, and I'm sure that many of you have some key ideas already from university projects, or you're working on existing projects that you might like to showcase here. Generating sustainable employment in cities, and I think this is something that is strongly of value. Unemployment rates have skyrocketed since the COVID unfortunately took effect. So there could be a lot of ideas that have been generated and thought about during these rather difficult times. So hopefully this might be of interest to you. So these are the two challenges, but to note that both of the challenges will be operating under one hackathon with the same evaluation criteria and the same jury. So although you are presented with two challenges, it's more of a guidance and to hopefully bring some fruitful ideas and suggestions forward to these. A little bit about the criteria then. As mentioned in the title, UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon, it is only open to females. Of course, many males are supporting this initiative. It's fantastic, but we are opening this hackathon for females only to develop their digital and their technology skills. The hackathon is only open to teams. So unfortunately, we rarely accept individuals unless we need to make up some teams after the deadline. So we do encourage you to reach out to other individuals or to those who have entered an idea already, but are lacking some team members. The team should consist of 2 to 5 persons, but the more, the merrier, and obviously the better support you have during the development in the hackathon. Don't hack it alone. It's usually quite a long and tedious journey in a hackathon to go it alone. Females from Bangladesh are more than welcome to apply. We aren't accepting applications, unfortunately, from any other country or region. And it's open to students. So if you're currently studying, if you're a recent graduate who are in between studies and work, or who have just recently started a new workplace, young professionals who have been working for several years, if you're an entrepreneur or a freelancer, you're more than welcome to join this hackathon as well. So please feel free to browse the submission page and apply. There is an age limit, so if you're under 18, unfortunately, you're not eligible. And if you're over 35, reach out to the organizers and we can see what we can do. But we've just put that as a guidance at 18 to 35 years of age because it fits to the recent graduates and young professionals categories. As mentioned, this hackathon will be online. So we will be holding it mainly in Zoom. So we will have breakout rooms for all the teams. There will be the discussions with mentors, and there will be the live sessions in Zoom. So fully facilitated in that platform. But to support the team communications, and also if Zoom fails, we will be using WhatsApp and WhatsApp groups to bring you all together and create announcements and awareness of the schedule. We will also have a Facebook group specifically for the event where we can share some images, create a bit of an atmosphere, and create an environment around this UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon. But without further ado, let me move on to the most critical part of actually entering the hackathon, and that is the registration. So once you enter the challenge page from an external source, you will be faced with this sign in. As with every platform under the sun, there is a registration or a sign-in part, just to make sure that you are you and you aren't impersonating another person. So just sign in by entering your email. So you type in your email and you will get requests, you will get sent a confirmation code to your email. So you just go to your email and copy that confirmation code. Let's see if it has come to me. Yes. So copy that confirmation code, bring it back to this box. Let's see, that didn't copy, unfortunately. Apologies about this. So put the confirmation code into this box and you confirm. And we, of course, welcome you to subscribe to our newsletter, because UltraHack has many, many different hackathons open to all regions of the world. So please sign up to our newsletter. Just a little plug there for you. And once you confirm, it takes a little moment. I think many of you are following my steps as we speak, which is why it's a little bit slow, which is good. It's good. It means there'll be no questions afterwards. So once you confirm, you're actually now opened the registration form. So you just enter your details. Add a photo. Of course, we like to see everyone's face and see what you look like, because this is an online environment, so we can't meet you virtually. So please add a photo there. Add your country and your city. Obviously, this will be used to verify that you're actually from Bangladesh. Choose which describes you best from the selection of I am a student, junior professional, senior professional, other. I will select other. And what you would like to participate as within the team. So whether you're full stack developer, backend developer, you can make your selection here. And you can choose which track you're interested in. At this stage, you can choose both tracks, because obviously both are of huge value and there's huge potential. So you can choose both tracks at this point. And just a short about me. So a little description about yourself. Describe your hobbies, your motivation, and your skill sets here. And this will obviously be an indicator for those who are seeking new team members. They will search this and hopefully add you to their team. You can also add a LinkedIn profile link so that we can also access that if you wish. And once you have entered that, just click submit. To note that all the fields that are indicated with a little star, as you see by the project name here, are necessary to complete. So if you get an error message, please go back and make sure that you have completed all fields. That's it. You're registered to the hackathon as an individual, but to bring yourself together as a team. Now is the opportunity to enter a submission. You can also edit your profile once you have submitted it by just clicking on the edit profile at this part. For the project name, just whatever you may be, I will just put, I don't know how to spell test. And just a short tagline or description. So if you have a vague idea of what you want to create, you can enter that in here. It's got limited characters. So I will just put another test. And at this point, you can only choose the track that you're registering for. So please choose one only. You can enter multiple submissions, but note that for this hackathon, you will only be selected with one of those submissions. So try to choose the one that you're most passionate about to enter it into the hackathon and for the appropriate challenge. Once you submit that, you can now breathe. But if you want to develop it a little bit further, just click on add more details to your submission. You will see here that you have the title of the submission and you have the opportunity to add more details. You can also upload a very nice cover photo. So if you have a team logo or team name that you like to put in fancy text or something, you can create it as a JPEG or PNG and upload that so that that can be your team profile photo. You can also edit the name or the short description and what stage it is the project at. If it's just something from scratch, just click from scratch. If it's an idea, just an idea, or both. And you can also change the track which you're entering the submission for. If you're going to be developing or working with a specific coding language, you can enter that here. If you're going to be building it with loads of coffee or tea or lack of sleep, you can enter that into the built with section. If you want to maybe bring something that you've already worked on a little bit, but develop it a little bit further and frame a problem around that, you can maybe put a tryout URL here so that we can access that and view what's already existing compared to what you're going to be doing during the hackathon. And then the most important part of all is adding team members. Unfortunately, there's no way of inviting team members once you have entered your submission. You cannot send an email saying, hey, I would like you to join my team. But each individual team member must register independently. Once they are registered onto the platform, you can add them to your solution. Just type their name here. So I will just type, for example, Jay, and I can see that these are registered persons within the platform, and to add them to my team, and just click the plus, and that will add them to your team. This will bind the team together and will make it easier for the approval stage once the deadline has been reached. If at any point you have entered a project or submission by mistake, you can click this to withdraw it. And by signing into the platform at any point, you can edit those details, add team members, or change the tracks or your registration details at the same time. I hope this supports your registration to the hackathon. We look forward to seeing the teams be informed and all the ideas flowing in. To support you along the way, Franklin and myself will be more than happy to take emails from you. So we will share our email addresses into the chat. Please reach out via the chat function here. If during the registration process you're having some difficulties, just type a question in and we'll be more than happy to support that way also. There will be more instructions and the schedule and everything coming up onto this page. So please continue visiting for updated information along the way. Don't forget to join the UNDP Women's Digital Innovation Hackathon Facebook group. This is where you can start to form teams, get extra support, juggle ideas with other interested parties to the hackathon. And all that's left for me to say is good luck. Looking forward to seeing your ideas and submissions, and looking forward to seeing you at the hackathon. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian, for such an informative presentation. Hopefully, all our aspiring participants will have benefited from the details you just shared. Now, for our closing session, I would like to invite Mr. Mamun Rashid, Climate Change Specialist, UNDP Bangladesh, to deliver his vote of thanks. Over to you, Mr. Mamun Rashid.
Thank you, Lamia. Thank you, colleague and participants. I'm pleased to be part of this webinar on women, digital skills, and the future of work. And I find that more than 170 participants actually attended today's webinar. And this is also a demonstration of interest of Bangladeshi women particularly to this important webinar and also the future hackathon that we discussed today. I have actually have seen this whole webinar, and I find out that there are a lot more potential for Bangladeshi women, particularly the young women who are really doing their study and who are really trying to enhance their skill and diversify their skill into the future of work, particularly in the world of the artificial intelligence. This is extremely valuable. It will be very valuable for all of them to explore that this skill can be one of the important area for their, I think, game changing in the new era. So first I want to really appreciate and acknowledge the encouraging participation who have not got this, I think, opportunity to speak, but they have really shared their comments, and we find also that those are properly answered by the panelists. So I want to thank all the participants who actually participated to this webinar. So my role is to give the thanks, vote of thanks. So I also want to really thank the panelists. So because they have provided excellent perspective in this webinar, and their contribution in the panel discussion, which is moderated by Dr. Marito Garcia. I think that is excellent. And on behalf of Accelerator Lab, we really want to thank all the panelists. But now, actually, I want to really, all the panelists are coming from the different platform, different organizations. So I want to really thank those organizations who are behind this hackathon. Unleash Innovation Lab, Ultra Hack, Elements of AI, University of Helsinki, Reactor, and one of the Bangladeshi entrepreneur women in digital is behind this, I think, hackathon. And definitely I want to also acknowledge that our colleagues in the Accelerator Lab, Mr. Ramiz, Mr. Jimran, who also actually worked behind organizing this event. And they have really made it a very successful event today. So on behalf of, I think, UNDP Bangladesh Accelerator Lab, we want to acknowledge all of your contribution and interest in today's webinar. We hope that this webinar will encourage many eligible, interested women from Bangladesh to apply to this hackathon. Thank you and wish you a happy day wherever you are.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mamun Rashid, for your words of wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the very end of our webinar and launching ceremony today, and we would like to express and convey our sincere gratitude to all our esteemed speakers, our panelists and moderators for joining us today amidst such a difficult time. We would also like to thank our audiences who have connected with us via Facebook Live and other social media channels. Thank you, everyone, and a very good evening to all of you.